Okay, so my recording program does not allow for me to record shortcuts a lot, so I'm going to have to record from this angle from my phone. I apologize if it makes it difficult for anyone to see, but I'll do my best to try and explain, so please follow along. Shortcuts a Lot is a program that I purchased a couple of years back because it has a lot of word art functions in it, and it also has an ability to be able to create rhinestone templates. We're not going to go over that today, but that was the reason originally that I purchased the software, and I have more than gotten my money's worth for it. Now, if you're someone who doesn't think that you'll be using the features that are in this program enough to justify paying an additional cost, then I can completely understand. I'm also going to, later in the tutorial, go over how you can create a shadow effect using Cricut Design Space or using a free program which is called Inkscape. So for just the purposes, this portion of the tutorial, we're going to be using Shortcuts a Lot. Now, to create a shadow for a word is so simple. I mean, this is going to be less than 2 minutes. You would go to your text box over here on the left, hit text, and then type in the text that you want to use. I'm going to be using my name, and then I'm just going to change that color so that you can see what I'm doing to black. Okay, so there we have my name. So I'm going to go back up to my select tool and highlight the name, and then holding my shift key down, I'm going to size it so that it'll be easier for you to see. So there we go. So far so good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this, I think, to pink, because I love pink. And then let's create the shadow effect for it. So look how easy it is to do that. Now, I don't want to use this font. I want to use a font that is scripted or scripty. So we're going to go over here to this font button here. And I am going to change the font to Magnolia Sky. So I think I just passed it. There we go, Magnolia Sky. Oh, so we need to size it down a bit. Get it to fit. So holding down the shift key. And that keeps it in proportion so that your dimensions and proportion doesn't get all messed up. Okay, there you go. So there's my name in Magnolia Sky. Now you notice in Inkscape, whenever you type a font that has a script font, it's going to automatically connect the letters for you. You see that? So it's connected the letters for me so that they're touching, but it hasn't welded them together. So when I'm holding my mouse over, you can see that it shows you where it would actually cut those all individually. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to Effects and then scroll down to Shadow. And then I want my shadow layer to be a different color so we can see it. So I'm going to change it to black. And then using this button here, you just kind of scroll to the left or to the right to make your shadow as big as you want it to be. And that is it. It's not a whole lot more than that. So I want my shadow to fill out everything. I don't want anything to be cut inside. So I've made it big like that, but you don't have to. You can do it to where it's just a little like that. You do it like that, whatever floats your boat. But I want all of that inside part to not be cut out. So I'm going to hit OK. And then we've just created the name with the shadow on it. So now we need to export this so that we can open it up in our Cricut Design Space. So now you go to File, and then you're going to go to Export, and then you want to name it, whatever it is that you want to name it, and then hit Save. Now I already have it saved, so I'm just going to exit out, but this is how you would do it when you first create it. And then now we're going to go back over to Cricut Design Space. Okay, so now we're back in Cricut Design Space, and then you would go to Upload, and then Upload Image, browse, and find wherever it is that you have created your not rhinestone, your shadow template, and then Open. I already have mine saved in Cricut, so I'm going to skip that part and just go to Upload, select it, and Insert. So here we go. See that? I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. Now what you want to do before you start changing anything so it doesn't mess up is you want to go over here and you want to ungroup it. Okay? So I just ungrouped them, and then I'm going to, making sure that the name is all highlighted, I'm going to hit weld so that it puts it all into one layer. And so now I'm good. So I could go ahead and cut this out of vinyl or cardstock or whatever it is that I would like right over here in my Cricut program. I'm planning on making some jewelry later that will be using names. So I really love the ease of the Sure Cuts a Lot program for creating my necklaces and my name earrings. But next I'm going to show you how you can do it in Cricut Design Space if you don't have the Sure Cuts a Lot program or if you don't have the Inkscape program downloaded. So what you would do, go to your text, type your name, and for the video I've been using Magnolia Sky, so I'm going to continue to use that font. Now in Cricut it doesn't link the letters together for you, so you'll have to do that on your own. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger so it's easier for us to see. And then I'm going to go to letter space, and we're just going to hit that down arrow until we get it to where all the letters are touching. Okay, and then I'm going to hit weld to weld it all together. So there I have my name, and I'm going to duplicate this layer, and then I'm going to select one of them and change the color. Okay, so this pink is going to be the top layer, and then this black is what we're going to build our shadow layers out of. So highlighting the black, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. And I'm just going to duplicate it a few times. And this is going to help build our shadow layer. Okay, so this isn't perfect. It is not going to look perfect. And, you know, if you want it to be super crisp and clean, then you'll have to take the time and make sure that everything is lined up as best as possible. But I'm just going to give you the overall idea of how you would do this in Cricut. So what you do is after you duplicate a whole bunch of those shadow layers, you're just going to take them and offset them just a tad bit from each other. And we're going to start building a shadow layer. So I can't tell you like exactly how many layers you're going to need in order for it to be right. I just do it until I feel like it looks the way that I want it to look. So it's not very much of a difference. It's just ever so slightly offsetting and continuing to just build up on that. Okay. And then once you get it to where you want it, then we would draw a box around everything and weld everything together. Okay. So I'm just doing layer on layer on layer and on layer, and then each layer just kind of moving it around a little bit. You can go in and try and clean it up if you would like. Okay. All right. Now what I would do is I would take my mouse and draw a box over all of those layers and then hit weld. Okay, so we're back down to just 2 layers, and you can see that over here. And then you would take your top layer, hit arrange, send to front, and there you have a shadow layer that was made in Cricut Design Space. All right, now I'm going to show you the third and final way that I know how to create a layer, and that is in Inkscape. And let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so the third and final way that I know to create a shadow layer is in Inkscape. Inkscape is a free program. If you go to inkscape.org, you can download the program for either a PC or a Mac. So how I do it is I go over to the left here, select the text tool, type in my text, and then I'm going to go up here to the drop-down menu and select the font. We've been using the Magnolia Sky. I'll continue to use that. Okay, and then I want to go and hit the select tool, and then making sure that it's highlighted and has a box around it, we're going to go up to the top to path, scroll down to linked offset, and then what we've done is we've created a shadow layer already. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold down your control button and hit the closed parentheses button. So that would be your 0. And it's just created a bulkier layer. We can hit it again and it'll make it even bigger and bulkier. And there you go. You've just created a shadow layer in Inkscape. So here's our original layer. I'm just going to change it to a different color so it's easier to see. And then here is the shadow layer that we have just created. See that? So now what you could do is you would go up to here, save your file, name it whatever you want to name it, put it in your computer wherever you want to save it as, and then you'd go over to your Cricut and open it up from there. So I told you guys it would be a short tutorial. I really hope that you guys were able to learn something, and make sure that you're hitting the like button, leaving a comment, and subscribing to my channel for more videos. Again, this is Genoa with A Crafty Mess. I want to thank you for joining me today. See you guys on the next one.